If you're tiling a fireplace hearth, the most important part isn't the tile, it's what's underneath it. Do this part wrong and your tile will crack. So here's exactly how to prep your hearth using HardieBacker Cement Board the right way. In short, you'll have your subfloor, a layer of Thinset, followed by the cement board such as HardieBacker board, another layer of Thinset, and finally your tile. Today I'll cover prepping the subfloor and cement board. Your subfloor may look different, but understand this process is pretty universal. I had to custom build this frame that it sits on, and while it's on the ground, it's firmly fixed to the sides of the hearth, so it's not relying on the ground for support. In the event you have to do this, you don't want to rely on the ground for support, as it has a strong tendency to shift and could easily crack your tile and weaken its support. My previous hearth was also tile, but it was filled with concrete. Since I don't want to pour over 600 pounds of concrete back into this hole of my 101-year-old home, I built a frame inside of it. So I added blocking about every 12 to 14 inches, and it's probably overbuilt, but I really don't want to have to redo anything, so I wanted it solid. So my frame sits inside of this hole, but if you want a raised hearth, you can easily build something similar on top of your floor, and the process is going to be the same. Once you have your frame or your floor joists exposed, you want to start with a solid foundation for your tile, and that's typically 3/4 inch plywood. This needs to be firmly attached to your joist or to a frame, no movement, no flex. If it squeaks or shifts at all, fix that now with screws into the framing. Tile does not tolerate movement. We'll start with Loctite's PL400 subfloor to glue it into the joist. Then I screw my first layer of plywood into the frame with 2-inch interior wood screws. That puts about 1 1/4 inch of the screw into the frame for a solid hold. Now this part is optional, but I actually doubled up on my plywood subfloor for extra support and strength. My first layer was screwed directly into the frame that I built, then I added another 1/2 inch layer of plywood. I would have used 3/4 inch plywood again, but I need to match the tile to the height of my floors, and another 3/4 inch board was just going to be too high. I also used a full sheet of plywood for the second layer, but for the first layer I had 2 pieces, and when you're joining 2 pieces of plywood, you want to make sure to screw half of the end to one side of the frame and then the other half of the sheet to the other half of the frame, just like you would a piece of drywall. The edge of one piece of the plywood should sit on half of the 2x4, and the edge of the other board should sit on the other half of the 2x4. Once your base is solid, dry fit your HardieBacker boards. Lay your pieces out and plan your seams. Try to avoid small strips and make sure any seams land over framing or blocking. If they don't, add blocking now. Every edge needs support. No edge or corner should be free floating. And it's also important to leave about a 1/8 inch gap between sheets and around the perimeter. Don't butt them up tight. That small gap allows for slight movement of your plywood and it prevents cracking later. Once you've got the boards laid out, pull them up and it's time to lay the Thinset. I'm using pre-mixed simple set. It's definitely more expensive, but it's so easy to use and there's no mixing or cleanup. And this step gets skipped all the time, but it's critical. You're going to spread a layer of Thinset over the plywood using a 1/4 inch notched trowel. This Thinset is not for adhesion like it will be for your tile. It's there to fill any voids between the plywood and the cement board. Without it, you'll have hollow spots, and those turn into cracked tile down the road. Once the Thinset is down, set your HardieBacker board into it while it's still wet. Lay it in place and press it down firmly. You can shift it slightly from side to side to help it bed into the mortar. I even walk on it to ensure it's seated fully, and I could audibly hear air pockets escaping, exactly what you'd want. Now it's time to fasten it. I made a small mistake of sealing the seams with tape first, and this was wrong. It needs to be screwed down and secured prior to sealing the seams. So we'll come back to this even though you see me doing it now. Use 1/4 inch backer board screws and start in the center of the board working your way out. This helps prevent bowing or trapping air underneath. You should have a screw roughly every 8 inches in the center and on the edges of this board every 6 to 8 inches. So be prepared to put quite a few screws down. Keep them about 3/8 to a 1/2 inch away from the edges so you don't break the board. You'll drive them in flush, not sunk deep like you will with drywall screws. And if you have multiple sheets of board, stagger your seams if possible and don't line up screws directly across from each other. Offset them slightly to reduce the stress. Once everything is screwed down tight, now we move on to the seams. Set a thin layer of Thinset into the joints and then use alkali resistant mesh tape, not drywall tape, and apply it over every joint. Then skim over it with Thinset once again, embedding the tape fully. You don't need to build it up thick, just enough to lock the boards together. And this doesn't need to be pretty like drywall seams do because you'll never see it. And at this point, your hearth should feel completely solid, flat, and unified. No movement, no hollow spots. Let everything set, and now you've got a proper tile-ready surface. Take the time to do this right, and your tile job will last. Rush it, and you'll be redoing it later. Hope this was helpful. Reach out anytime with questions or concerns. Have a great day.